gentlemen, and welcome to the second day of the 67th Philsutech Annual National Convention. To start our day, let us put ourselves in the most holy presence of our Lord through a prayer, to be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem and the Philsutech hymn. and gentlemen, and once again, my name is Danny Dingkong, and together with all the Philsutech officers and organizers, I am welcoming you all to the second day of the 67th Philsutech National Convention with the theme, Sugarcane Industry, Braving Through the Challenges of Times. Despite the risks imposed by the pandemic, we in the sugar industry remain true to our mission to improve the quality, quantity, and efficiency of sugar production in the country. Thus, in this convention, the learning doesn't stop. We have a very good lineup of speakers today, so we assure you that every minute is an opportunity to learn and to improve. And with that being said, here are some of our friendly reminders once more for those attending virtually. Please make sure to check your internet speed, the upload and download speed. Also remember, a minimum of 20 Mbps must be ensured of upload and download speed for better internet connection and quality of convention. LAN or wired connection is a must, but if you are using a mobile device or a laptop, make sure that you are near the Wi-Fi router to have a better connection. In case of internet interruption or technical problems from the host, please wait for instructions and use headset for clearer audio. And remember that we have two platforms where you can stream or access our whole convention and where you can send your questions for our speakers later on. First, you can connect with us through our virtual event platform, and that is posted on screen, www.67thanc.philsutech.com. And again, you can submit your questions at the chat box on the right side of our live session. Second, you may also connect with us via Zoom. As much as we encourage that you connect with us through our first link earlier, iba sa atin nahihirapan talaga. So here is another option via Zoom. Our Zoom link was posted in Philsutech's Facebook page. So if you are using Zoom, you can also click on the message bubble icon to type in your question. So please, another encouragement for everyone who is watching right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe in our official Facebook page, that is Philippine Sugar Technologists Association Incorporated, Philsutech, and we'll keep in touch there. Now the moderators will choose a few questions if you will be typing a few of them in the chat box, and the rest will be sent to the speaker and he or she may choose to answer at a later time via email. So let's keep the interaction going. Without any further ado, let's move on to the first topic of the day. Embracing the challenge. Philsurin recommends suitable varieties for specific mill districts. If you have questions, please put it in the chat room and it will be answered later. Our speaker is one of the authors of the topic and study, together with Jojit de Maraye, Chona R. Untal, Julius F. Chua, Bernie G. De Quinto, and Rosalyn Luzaran. She has been presenting papers on variety releases and programming, results of the advanced yield trials and cultural management studies on sugarcane intercropping, rat tuning, furrow spacing, and tolerance to drought and waterlogged conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker for today, it is my honor to welcome Ms. Heidi P. Villares.
Pleasant morning to everyone. It's a privilege to be one of your plenary speakers this morning, and I'm very glad to give you this presentation entitled Embracing the Challenge. Philsurin recommends suitable varieties for specific mill districts. The authors are yours truly. Then we have Ms. Chona Ontal, Mr. Julius Choa, and Mr. Jujit de Maraye. All three are agronomists of Philsurin. We also have Mr. Bernie De Quinto, our regional coordinator, and Ms. Rosalyn Luzaran, station manager, and at the same time, pathologist of the Philsurin Experiment Station, which is based in Victoria City, Negros Occidental. So amidst the current restrictions brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, Philsutech aggressively supports the sugar industry to sustain and improve its productivity. To do it, Philsutech embraced the challenge and pooled its resources to recommend the most suitable varieties for a specific mill district, package these HYVs with the required cultural management, provide clean, pure, and high-quality planting materials, and vigorously disseminate new information and science-based recommendations. Although sugarcane could adapt to a wide range of growing environments, different varieties perform differently in varied growing conditions. So to identify the most suitable HYV for a specific mill district, Philsutech conducts yield trials in several test locations. The Philsutech Sugarcane Variety Improvement Program, or SVIP, implements an established system of developing HYVs that would normally take 8 to 10 years of breeding and selection work. But oftentimes, we exceed this time frame because of some delays due to unfavorable weather conditions, resulting to inconclusive data, and we need to reconduct the trials. This program starts with hybridization using varieties with desirable characteristics as parents. Hybrids that are produced are subjected to the early field test and rigid screening for disease resistance. Then after the initial field evaluation, these are forwarded to the preliminary yield trials in 4 major sugarcane growing areas. The advanced yield trials are then conducted in 8 to 10 locations for adaptability and yield performance evaluation. And finally, a commercial yield trial is being done in each mill district to verify commercial potential of our promising and newly released varieties. The protocol for release of a new variety involves evaluation by the Sugarcane Variety Improvement Group, or the SVIP, which is composed of the breeders, agronomists, and pathologists. It is then presented to the Variety Release Committee, or VRC, which decides whether the variety be released based on the results of the advanced yield trial or be subjected to further evaluation through the commercial yield trial. The VRC was created to involve Philsutech stakeholders, including representatives of different sugarcane planters associations and millers, together with the Philsutech SVIP group, the regional coordinator, the director general, the president, and the chairman of Philsutech. As of last year, or after 25 years of existence, Philsutech had registered, released, or recommended 25 varieties of sugarcane for commercial planting. These include the 9 VMC varieties that were bred by VMC but were extensively tested and evaluated by Philsutech nationwide. These are the ones that are still popular until now. We also have recommended 3 foreign varieties that were found adapted under our local conditions. One from Indonesia, the PS862, is still grown in some districts, and the 2K varieties from Thailand. Then, of course, we have the 13 high-yielding varieties bred by Philsutech that were named PSR. These are the ones that are currently included in our PCS, or Philsutech Certified Seed Program, which will be discussed later. For our methodology, the yield trials are usually laid down in a randomized complete block design in 4 replications. The PYT, or preliminary yield trial, is planted in 6 rows by 5-meter plots, while the AYT, or the advanced yield trial, is planted in bigger plot sizes of 6 rows by 9 meters. But the ZYTs, or commercial yield trials, are unreplicated and are planted in much bigger area of 0.25 to 0.5 hectare per variety. Planting rate is pegged at 4.5 laxas per hectare, while fertilization is based on soil analysis. These are the usual test sites for the advanced yield trials. We normally have 7 sites in the Visayas, that's 4 in Negros, 2 in Panay, and 1 in Cebu. Then 1 AYT site in Mindanao, that's in Bukidnon, and previously we had 2 in Luzon, but presently we cannot conduct there. The soil types range from sandy to clayey, and the weather patterns include weather types A, B, C, and D. To evaluate the performance of our promising varieties, these are compared with check or commercial varieties. We are using Phil 8013 as the standard or national check, while for the local check, we use the popular variety in the district where the trial is being conducted. And these are the common local checks that we are using. Gradings and disease observations are periodically done. The canes are harvested from 10 to 11.5 months, and the data that are gathered at harvest include the usual stock and yield parameters, including LKGTC, tonnage, and LKG per hectare. All PYT and AYT results are subjected to statistical analysis using ANOVA at LSD 0.05. We have the percent CV here, or coefficient of variation ranges for ton canes per hectare, LKGTC, and LKG per hectare. Then, a statistical tool, the GGE biplot analysis, is used to identify a versatile and stable variety. Through this, we will know what variety wins, where, or what is best for what location. For the CYT, we are using the actual results from the mill to evaluate commercial performance. So this paper presents the performance of Philsutech varieties in districts where this had shown higher yields over the commercial or popular varieties. And this had been the basis for our recommendation of the suitable variety or varieties in a specific mill district. I'm showing you now the characteristics and yield performance of Philsutech HYVs adapted to varied mill districts. These are our variety releases from 2014 to 2020. The first one is the PSR 01105. This is a waterlogging tolerant variety which could also thrive under dry conditions once it is well established. It could also adapt to varied soil types, and it has the tendency to lodge heavily in good soils. So this is the variety that could be planted in hilly or moderately poor soils. The yield performance of PSR 01105 showed that it is moderately high to high in tonnage and average to moderately high in LKGTC. It was higher in LKG per hectare over any of the check from either the plant or ratoon crops in 12 mill districts, proving that it is a versatile variety in terms of location adaptability. The blue and red columns represent the plant and ratoon sugar yields of PSR 01105, while the green and yellow columns are the plant and ratoon results of the Czech variety VMC 86550. Other colors signify different Czech varieties. On the other hand, the asterisk indicates that the result was from the commercial yield trial. Then we have PSR 01136. It is a semi-fast growing cane which has heavy tillering and is generally reclining only in stand. It is also highly self-dethrashing and non-flowering. It is moderately high to high both in tonnage and LKGTC, and it is recommended in 9 mill districts where it was higher in LKG per hectare over any of the checks from either the plant or ratoon crops. PSR 02247 is a variety with good agronomic traits and is very suitable for mechanized harvesting because it is erect, highly self-dethrashing, and non-flowering. It is also a good ratooner. However, it has a low tillering capacity, so this should be planted in high densities of 5 to 6 laxas per hectare. It showed moderately high to high tonnage and high LKGTC. It is recommended in 7 mill districts where it was higher in LKG per hectare over VMC 86550. This is a good alternative variety for VMC 86550 because although it showed generally comparable sugar yield with this popular variety in the plant crop, it showed better performance over it in the ratoon. PSR 02272 is a semi-fast growing cane with heavy tillering. It is erect to reclining, good ratooner, and resistant to the major diseases. It is also suitable for mechanized harvesting. It is highly recommended in Bukidnon as alternative variety for VMC 86550 because of its outstanding yield performance in that location. It is moderately high to high in both tonnage and LKGTC. Aside from Bukidnon, it is also recommended in other mill districts where it was higher in LKG per hectare over any of the checks like Victorias, La Carlota, and in Sagay and Lopez areas. PSR 04172 is a new variety with good yield performance. It is generally reclining only in stand, which makes it suitable for mechanized harvest. It is also sweet, hence it is a good alternative variety for the early milling season, and it is a good retuner. It showed moderately high to high tonnage and high LKGTC. It is recommended in 7 mill districts where it was higher in LKG per hectare over any of the checks. Another good variety is PSR 03171. It is a good germinator, semi-fast grower, heavy tiller, and a good retuner. It showed consistently high tonnage and moderately high to high LKGTC. It is recommended in 9 mill districts where it was higher in LKG per hectare over any of the checks from either the plant or ratoon crops. PSR 07195 is average only in height, but it looks attractive because it is a heavy tillering, erect, and highly self-dethrashing cane. Thus, this is also very suitable for mechanized harvesting. However, it is flowering, but it is sweet, so it should be programmed for early milling harvest or just in time when the flowers come out from October to November. It is also a very good retuner. It showed moderately high to high tonnage and high LPGTC. It is recommended in 9 mill districts where it was higher in LPG per hectare over any of the check. This variety is really a good retuner, as shown by its higher sugar yields in the ratoon compared to the plant crop in 5 mill districts, including Victorias, HPCO, First Farmers, Lopez, and Pasig. Lastly, we have the PSR 0766, which was released only last year. This is a very fast-growing cane, which is consistently high in tonnage, is highly self-dethrashing, and non-flowering. However, it has the tendency to lodge because it is tall. So this is a good variety for the upland areas. We have doubts before to release this variety because it has low to average LKGTC from our advanced yield trials. But the results from the commercial yield trials have shown average to moderately high LKGTC. So we pushed through with its commercial release. But we strictly recommend that this variety should be planted only during the middle to late planting season of between February to July to be harvested during the dry months of late January to April. It showed consistently high tonnage and, as I had mentioned, low to average LKGTC. But it gave significantly higher LKG per hectare over any of the check and 7 mill districts where it is now recommended. It is also a good retuner as shown by its similar or higher sugar yield in the ratoon compared to the plant crop in 5 mill districts, including First Farmers, Lopez, La Carlota, Pasig, and Bukidnon. It could also be recommended in areas where it was significantly higher in tonnage over any of the checks, but the planting and harvesting months should be strictly implemented. So to summarize our recommendations, these are the Philsutech varieties that could be planted or could be recommended for each mill district based on the results of the yield trials that we had conducted. For the Visayas, we have the list for Sagay and Lopez areas, then Victorias, HPCO, and First Farmers. Then for Southern Negros, we have a list for La Carlota, Biscom, and Sunidco. For San Carlos also. And then for Panay, we have a list for Pasig and Capiz, and also for Bugu, Cebu. For Mindanao, we have the recommendations for Bukidnon and Davao. And for Luzon, we have here the recommended list for Tarlac and Batangas. Specifically, however, we identified the top yielding varieties in each mill district. For HPCO and First Farmers districts, PSR 01195 performed well both in the CYT and from a commercial field. PSR 03171 was also showing good both from the CYT and from its commercial performance. within these districts. PSR 04172 is highly recommended here because it outperformed VMC 84524 in 2 YVTs, which were formerly our commercial yield trials. PSR 0766 had also shown good commercial performance in this location. And PSR 01136 is another variety that showed well commercially within these areas. For the La Carlota, Biscom, and Zonedco mill districts, PSR 03171 is highly recommended. It outperformed VMC 84524 in the ZYT, and the commercial performance was also favorable. PSR 07195 outshielded VMC 84524 in the commercial yield trial, and the commercial performance was good in these areas. PSR 04172 performed outstandingly at Hacienda Fe and La Carlota from both the commercial yield trial and the commercial fields. You could note that the commercial data were quite high from a 2.01 and 1.84 hectare areas. It showed 120 and 134 tankings per hectare, 2.20 and 2.30 LKGTC, then 276 and 295 LKG per hectare. Then PSR 0766 will also do well here, as shown by its performance both in the ZYTs and the commercial fields. For Sagay and Lopez areas, PSR 01105 has shown good performance both in the ZYTs and in various commercial fields within these areas. PSR 03171 also performed well both in the commercial yield trials here and from the commercial fields within these districts. PSR 01136 showed significantly higher yields from the CYTs over the popular checks in this location. For Pasig Mill District, PSR 01105 is highly recommended based on the results of the CYT. PSR 03171 had also shown significantly higher yield over VMC 84524 in this area. And PSR 0766 will do well in this location as long as it is programmed for dry month harvest from late January to April. For Capiz Mill District, PSR 01105 is highly recommended, especially for your high water table areas or those which are moderately waterlogged. And also PSR 01136, which showed well from the advanced yield trial in this location. PSR 0766 is recommended for commercial testing in Capiz Mill District. We also have 2 new HYVs that seem very promising in your location. So this will be subjected for CYT in your area. For Bogo Middelin Mill District, PSR 03171 is recommended due to its very good rattoning ability. Also the PSR 01105 and the PSR 01136. For Bukidnon Mill District, PSR 02272 is highly recommended because of its outstanding performance both from the AYT and CYTs. Then PSR 03171 was also showing good in this location, and the PSR 07195, which showed outstanding performance from both the plant crop until the second ratoon. For Tarlac Mill District, we have 2 proven varieties in this location, PSR 01105 and the PSR 0766, which again we strictly recommend for dry month milling. But we had identified one very promising for Tarlac Mill District, which will be subjected for commercial testing here. For Batangas, only one variety has proven result here, the PSR 01105. But 2 HYVs are recommended for commercial testing in this district, the PSR 01136 and PSR 0766. We also have recommendations for districts that have initial yield results from the previous AYTs like San Carlos, Davao, and Victorias. And to get the most from these new varieties, we have additional cultural management recommendations. These mainly include the planting and harvesting seasons and the location adaptability. So when to plant and harvest these varieties? It is always emphasized that only the sweet canes should be planted and harvested during the early milling season to counter the low LKGTC within the wet months of September to November. On the other hand, canes with average sweetness should be timed for going dry to dry months harvest, which should be from December to April. Moreover, fast-growing, high-tillering, or sweet canes are suited for May to July planting to be harvested from March to early June. For variety programming across locations, we group the areas into lowlands and uplands. The lowlands are flat to semi-rolling areas, even if these are located in locations with high altitude like Bukidnon, while the uplands are sloping areas as in the hillsides or mountains. The lowlands are considered more fertile than the eroded soils of the uplands. Generally, slow to average growing canes should be contained in the lowland to intermediate areas, while the fast-growing canes could be planted here also, but only the fast growers should be planted in the upland. Before I close, we wish to acknowledge also the participation of the following, because to develop and release a new Philsutech variety requires the combined effort of the whole SVIP group. We have Dr. Liwaiwai Engle, consultant breeder and geneticist at the same time, Ms. Graciela Opias, assistant breeder, Mr. Michael Raboco, research assistant, and all the research assistants who had helped us in accomplishing this task. Also to all our cooperators, both planters and mills. Finally, in behalf of the whole Philsutech Sugarcane Variety Improvement Program Group and the Variety Release Committee, I would like to say, Madamo Ugid nga salamat. Before I answer your questions, I would like to give you our Director General, Mrs. Gina Martin, who will give you the recent information about our PCS, or the Philsutech Certified Seed Program, and how you could avail of our new varieties and services. Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning, everyone. From Philsutech, Gina Martin. I just like to let you know in continuing to what the report of Dr. Heidi. Looking forward, we all need a good crop, and a good crop needs a good seed. Philsutech Certified Seed Program, which aims to provide pure, clean, and disease-free planting materials. With a good seed needs a serious implementation of our improved cultural practices, as was mentioned earlier. This formula is imperative for our improved production yield at a lower cost and increased income. To avail of these varieties and other Philsutech services, we advise that you contact us, Philsutech, through the number. These are through the numbers. I realize I do not have the numbers, but these are just letting you know that in addition, these are the highlights from the completed commercial yield trials for everyone to have no think of doubt, to note that look at our yields this past year. And so I invite everyone to get in touch with your member associations and your mills who are members of Philsutech to, if you want to avail of our new cultural practices, improved cultural practices, and seed varieties. Thank you very much and have a good day.
All right, thank you very much, ladies. That was just the first topic out of all of the discussions that we will be having on this day. But I believe we have questions on the chat box, and I'd love to request my two ladies to please be on standby. I will be reading and we will be flashing these questions so that everybody can see and then everybody can be informed as well. Let's keep this line interactive. And in all discussions later on, wala pong limit. Kahit ilan po yung gustong magtanong, as long as our facilitators can read your question, understand your question, we will be flashing it on screen. And kung hindi naman po siya matatapos, or if we cannot have the discussion of your questions, posted questions in the comment box, again, as mentioned earlier, this will be emailed to our speakers, and our speakers mismo yung magbibigay ng mga sagot sa mga tanong po natin. Alright? So keep the questions coming. We have to make sure that a lot of questions are here para at least yung speaker natin here as well joining us and masasagutin po niya. While we are on standby and while we are waiting to ensure that all questions are here and ready, don't forget to like and subscribe our Facebook page. All of our posts, all of our information, lahat-lahat nandyan po. So para makapag-keep in touch naman po tayo sa Facebook page natin. So I think we are ready. Here is question number 1. This question is from Arnelo Agdon. And the question is, what is the recommended variety for Negros Oriental? Again, what is the recommended variety for Negros Oriental? Ms. Heidi.
Yeah. I'm sorry that we have not been conducting trials in Negros Oriental since about 2005. After they have the Planters Association there was inactive. Have an inactive membership with Philsutech. So as of now, those varieties that I have presented had not been tried in your location. So we could not say what would be good in your location unless we do some commercial testing. So we recommend that you request for commercial yield trials from our end by joining Philsutech.
Thank you very much, Ms. Heidi. And thank you for that question as well. Siguro the answer is, wala pa. But we can get there, okay? So the next action point is commercial testing. That's a good suggestion. Thank you so much, Ms. Heidi. But don't go just yet. I think we still have another question and our facilitators are trying to get the questions para po ma-flash po natin. Thank you so much for joining us today, Miss Heidi has. So please stand by, everybody. I think this is question number 2 being flashed on screen right now from Central Azucarera de Tarlac. Hello, good morning. The question is, are there recommendations also for Isabela region? Again, recommendations for Isabela region. Miss Heidi.
Yes, as of the present, we are conducting trials only in Tarlac. So maybe you could try what are those varieties that we have recommended at Tarlac to be also tested in your location, like the PSR 01105 and the PSR 0766, which we found good in your location. But again, we recommend that you have to be an active member of Philsutech in order for us to really do some commercial testing of these new varieties in your location.
All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Heidi. And thank you so much also for that question. All right. I believe we still have more. Ayan. Maraming tanong. Maraming excited para sa inyo, Ms. Heidi. All right. So let's just wait for the question to be
Okay.
flashed on screen. I like the optimism right there. And we also appreciate that everybody who has been sending their comments and their questions, if gustong ipa-commercial test sa kanilang mga areas, that's nice. Ibig sabihin, we are always looking for innovative ways na para mag-develop naman po tayo still. Ang ganda ng smile ni Miss Heidi right there. She's also optimistic to have everybody. Okay, so I believe the next question is ready. Let's just wait. If you have more questions, everyone, just keep it flowing and keep sending. All right. Here we go. The next question, Miss Heidi. This is from John Ledesma. You mentioned that fertilization depends on the soil analysis in your area. What are the average bags that you use or maximum bags to get optimum results in your commercial trials? I hope that was clear, Ms. Heidi.
Yes, I get it. Yes. Mr. Chan, our regular fertilization, even without the soil analysis, are usually range from 5 to 7 bags for urea, 3 to 4 bags of 18460, and 4 to 6 bags of 0060. So that's the normal range that we use if we don't have the soil analysis. Does that answer your question, sir?
All right, there's a wave and there's an approved sign right here that I'm seeing. Thank you so much, Miss Heidi. Okay, so to everyone else who still wish to send their questions, please send your questions to the Zoom chat box. All right, I think you know where the chat boxes are. So I think we're good. Oh, there's still one more. And this question is from Jose Maria Valmayor. Here we go. What variety can they recommend on areas with only 80 inches of rain per year?
Yeah, I understand this is from San Carlos area, and they have yearly closer rainfall amount with that of Tarlac. So whatever we had found good in Tarlac might be good also in your location, sir. So for our newer varieties, we may recommend PSR 01105 and PSR 0766. But nevertheless, we still recommend that we really do some commercial yield trial in your location.
Parang general and basic talaga yun, ma'am. Before we do any conclusions, do the trials muna. All right. So, Tarlac and San Carlos, nalaman talaga eh. San Carlos yan. So, I think that answered the question, and that's another thumbs up. Thank you so much, Ms. Heidi. Now, going back, Sir John Ledesma is asking, using your new recommended varieties, if a smaller farmer uses only 6 to 10 bags, would his yield be higher than your baseline varieties? Ms. Heidi.
Okay, if you'll be using only 10 bags, although we have some varieties that we found good even with low fertilization, we still have to confirm, no? Because we still don't have the really conclusive results for these trials. So, siguro for varieties that may need low inputs, we could recommend the older varieties, the BMC 84947, also the PSR 0766 for the newer one, and the PSR 03171. You try it, but we could not conclude yet unless we have done some really scientific testing of these varieties under low fertilization.
All right. Thank you,
Okay?
Miss Heidi, and thank you for the question again. We still have two more questions before we wrap up this forum. So let's flash the next question on screen. From Arnelo Agdon. Is Philsurin a government agency? I can hear the optimism in the voice again. Miss
Ako masabat.
Heidi.
Si Ma'am Gina. Ma'am Gina will answer the question.
Philsurin is a private foundation that is funded by primarily the sugar mills and planter associations. So we invite everyone who wishes to avail of our technology transfer and high-yielding varieties to engage with your associations and your mills who are members of Philsurin. Thank you.
Question. Thank you very much, Miss Gina. And we have one last question for everybody who sent their questions in the forum box. And here it is. Let's flash it on screen. It's nice to see two ladies already answering our forum questions. I like that. All right. So we are already on the wrap up. Let's just flash one more question, please. Okay. Oh, may nagdagdag pa po. Dalawang questions pa po. Okay. So let's just keep them coming. We're ready. Okay, I believe we are still encoding. Here it is. Again from Sir John Ledesma. Now the question, is there a chance that you and SRA would collaborate or cooperate in combining to produce at one HYV, or is it against your mandate? Ladies.
We have been wanting to collaborate with, we have been also collaborating with the SRA, the government, but there are difficulties working with, for government to be able to assist the private sector. So having said that, there are some limitations that we have to work with. However, we're very happy that we have been assisted, or we continue to be assisted also by government. Although it hasn't arrived yet, soon, hopefully, we can come up with a better assistance from SRA.
Yun, soon, hopefully, eventually. Let's pray for that. Also, let me just remind that everybody who has been sending their questions, please don't forget to send your questions onto our Zoom account for your questions to be entertained and to be sent directly and flagged right here as we are having our live forum. Let me just ask, do we have other questions to be flashed on screen? Or was that the last one? Oh, we have one more. So Ms. Gina and Ms. Heidi, please wait for a moment. Ganito ka-interactive and lahat-lahat parang sobrang, they're really into it. So thank you for the optimism as well from everybody who's been watching and been asking questions. Let us just make sure that we are encoding the question pretty well so that you can understand it as we flash it on screen in a bit. So again, to those who are watching, a few reminders once more. Make sure that your internet connection is stable. Make sure that you send your interactive questions or even some comments onto the chat box, especially on the Zoom account, so that we can flash it directly to our speakers in this live forum. Just keep it coming. And in case hindi namin matatanong yung mga questions po ninyo, don't worry, we will be emailing it to our speakers for them to answer it directly and will be sent to you. All right. We have one last question before we wrap up this forum. Since yesterday, a lot of our participants have been very, ayun, hindi na ako magsasalita pa because the question is here, ready. From Doc Neil, okay. Is Philsurin planning to conduct studies of cane characteristics for farms that do regenerate agriculture or organic approach. Again, let me just read that one more time. Is Philsurin planning to conduct studies of cane characteristics for farms that do regenerate agriculture or organic approach?
Presently, yeah,
Go ahead.
presently, will you
Go
answer that?
ahead. Yeah, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Presently, what we have is the mandate to develop, to breed, to develop new varieties of Philsutech. That's the mandate mainly of Philsutech. But simultaneous with that, we are conducting cultural management studies, such as farrow spacing trials, and then planting rate trials, also the resistance to drought and waterlogging studies. But aside from that, um, we still don't have those trials that you had mentioned about organic fertilization. Maybe we can come to that later.
And in addition to what Ma'am Heidi said, is that what's important for us is we're doing research to increase our production at a lower cost. So all this in mind, having a research on that could be, but at the moment, we need to assist our farmers to improve their production, increase production, and at a more efficient way, lower cost.
All right. Thank you very much, ladies. And we like what we are hearing right now. It always boils down na binabalik natin sa mga farmers natin what can best benefit and suit them. At the end of the day, sila yung reason kung bakit hindi tayo lahat nagugutom. But that's a very nice answer. Okay, the questions are are coming in more and more. So I don't think I'm gonna be saying goodbye to the two ladies for now. Let me just read another or a few more questions on screen. All right. Hindi pa naman napapagod si Miss Gina and si Miss Heidi right there. I can still see smiles on their faces. All right. And it's really nice if only our farmers can also hear all the discussions that we are having here right now. For sure sila mismo mai-inspire at magpapasalamat rin sila that we are finding ways in ensuring that they too can be supported very well. From Benji Amor, the question is it possible to produce a variety that requires lesser nutrient requirement considering the current synthetic fertilizer price is very high?
Mom, would you like to answer that?
Okay, and then you can add,
Yeah.
you know, together with improving the productivity of these varieties is our management of of the cane, and cultural practice is change. We have to improve our cultural practices, and as what Ma'am Heidi initially mentioned, it's very important. There is no magic variety that will you just throw into the field and it will grow. What we have to do is to improve our management practices, cultural practices. There's no bad soil, and that those the there is no bad soil, and so it's up to the farmer to make this crop productive. And having said that, that's the key in management of these, following the protocol and the profile that Ma'am Heidi mentioned. If you knowing exactly when to plant these varieties, and what are the necessary uh, um, key factors that of what is good of this variety. Following that, when to plant it is necessary, and then the different cultural practices. So I think that should answer that there is no there's no variety that it's going to be a magic variety without proper care.
May I add to that, Mom?
Yes.
May I add? So actually, currently, we have some uh, effort towards developing varieties for low input farming, like we start with hybridization because our breeder geneticist, Dr. Engle, is crossing our commercial canes with the grass family like Spontaneum, Antigbao, Sinense, and other grass families, because through that we could extract the genes for waterlogging, drought tolerance of varieties, and also for low input. So hopefully we could come up with a variety later that would require less fertilization. But as of now, we still had not identified those varieties. We are still at the early stage.
All right, and we have heard it from Ms. Gina and Ms. Heidi right there. Proper management plus proper culture will always come out as growth. Thank you, ladies. One more question and one last question. And here it goes from DMDD CFI Ernesto V. Arenday. What are the basic control for smuts?
The most basic recommendation that we could give for that is to plant resistant varieties. So because we don't have control of smut once it is there, what we could recommend is only to plant the varieties that are resistant to this disease. And also to escape the smut infection during the dry months, the varieties that has moderate susceptibility to smut should be planted during the late planting season. That's from May to June. Normally, the sweet varieties are the ones that are susceptible to smut, but not all anyway. So that's it. You really need to plant smut-resistant varieties.
All right, and I believe the ladies have answered all the questions coming from the chat boxes. So again, maraming salamat. Also a special thank you to Ms. Gina for being a part of this discussion as well. But again, on behalf of the Philsutech board, I would like to present to you this plaque of appreciation which reads as follows. Philippine Sugar Technologists Association Incorporated awards this plaque of appreciation to Heidi P. Villares for sparing her precious time and invaluable services to the 67th Philsutech Annual National Virtual Convention held on August 25 to 27, 2021 at Park Inn by Radisson, SM City Complex, Bacolod City, Philippines, as resource speaker on Embracing the Challenge. Philsurin recommends suitable varieties for specific mill districts given this 26th day of August 2021. Signed by the Chairman of the Board, Domingo Lazaro L. Carranza, our President, Dr. Neil Andrew C. Cortez, and Overall Convention Coordinator, Jose Maria R. Valmayor. Again, thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next topic for this morning will focus on updates or latest developments of the sugar industry. Again, if you have questions, let's just do the same exercise that we did earlier on, and don't forget to put your questions also onto the Zoom account's chat box. So please put it on the chat room and it will be answered later. Our next speaker, everyone, is a licensed mechanical engineer. In 2008, he was awarded by the Department of Agriculture as the Outstanding Sugarcane Farmer for Region 7 during the 38th Gawad Saka Awards. He served as president for Leyte Cane Planters Association Incorporated from May 29, 2003 to June 30, 2016. He was a member of the Board of Directors of United Sugar Producers Federation of the Philippines Incorporated from May 29, 2003 to June 30, 2016. Currently, he is the chairman of Ormoc Cananga Mill District Development Council Foundation Incorporated, president of H. Herafica and Sons Corporation, HFT and E. Serafica Realty Incorporated, and HR Serafica Plantation Corp. Ladies and gentlemen, we are glad to be joined by the administrator of the Sugar Regulatory Administration. Let us all welcome Engineer Hermenegildo R. Serafica.
Philsutech Chairman of the Board, Attorney Domingo Lazaro Carranza, President Dr. Neil Andrew Cortez, members of the Philsutech Board of Directors and Officers, chairpersons of the FAL working committees, Philsutech past presidents, ladies and gentlemen, a good morning to you all. I would like to take this opportunity to commend Philsutech in its valuable contribution in providing this venue yearly where sugarcane industry stakeholders come together and renew their commitment to the sugarcane industry. Amidst the challenges we face with the COVID-19 pandemic, the SRA, together with the entire sugarcane industry, continues to strive and remain steadfast in its role in ensuring food security and providing sugar to all domestic consumers. The comparative performance of the sugarcane industry for the crop year before the pandemic and the crop years during the pandemic are shown on the slide. The final figures for crop year 2020-2021 is still to be determined, but we can see the figures as of August 15, 2021, the tons cane milled and the tons cane sugar per hectare continue to improve year on year. This increase in tonnage has produced a better sugar yield when compared to the pre-COVID crop year 2018-2019. Clearly, the sugarcane industry has remained unhampered by COVID-19. More than ever, SRA has continued to be in close coordination with the Department of Agriculture and successfully lobbied for cash and food subsidy for our small sugarcane farmers. Under the Bayanihan to Recover as One Act, also known as Bayanihan 2, Secretary William Dar has granted the SRA an allocation of 150 million worth of cash and food subsidy, which benefited 29,702 of our small sugarcane farmers. The total amount received by the farmer beneficiaries was 5,000 pesos each, of which 3,000 pesos was given as cash and 2,000 pesos worth was in the form of chicken and eggs. The subsidy was distributed from November 2020 to June 2021. Despite the pandemic, SRA continued to work hard to deliver its services to our stakeholders. It has been business as usual despite the various degrees of lockdown, and we continue to push for the utilization of the SIDA funds despite the obstacles. Under the SIDA infrastructure program, with total appropriation of 3.350 billion pesos, there are 224 farm-to-mill road projects implemented with a total length of 226.01 kilometers. Of these, 75.4% has been completed. We also have 3 bridge projects with a total length of 57 meters, out of which 2 sites are already completed. For the SIDA Socialized Credit Program, the total fund allocation is 624 million pesos. With this amount, the SRA Mill District officers have endorsed to Land Bank a total of 819 million pesos in loan applications. Of these, 499 million or 80% have already been approved by Land Bank, while 415 million has already been released, and there are still 35 million worth in loan applications waiting for next funding allocation. There are now a total of 213 block farms all over the country, formed under the SIDA Block Farm Program with a total of 5,688 beneficiaries and a total area of about 8,500 hectares. For the farm mechanization support under the SIDA Black Farm program, a total of about 500 million pesos worth of farm machineries have already been delivered to the Black Farm beneficiaries, which included 52 units 90 horsepower tractor with implements, 44 units 120 horsepower tractor with implements, 63 units sugarcane grabber and loader, 54 units fertilizer applicators, 72 units knapsack sprayers, 25 units reaper subsoilers, 25 units power harrow, 25 units moldboard plow, farrower, hydraulic harrow, and 5 units hauling trucks. Under the same program, there are about 93 million worth of farm machineries that have already been procured and are waiting to be delivered to the beneficiaries. Among these are 56 units sugarcane cutter or harvesters, 2 units grabber and loader, and 1 unit hauling truck. Aside from the farm mechanization support, other major interventions given to Black Farms beneficiaries are the following: 218 million pesos worth of startup capital given in cash and in kind to cover production costs, including labor, planting materials, fertilizer, soil rehabilitation, soils analysis, land preparation, harvesting, and crop insurance. 15 million pesos was also given to establish 105 high-yielding variety nurseries with a total area of 155 hectares, and 135 sets of irrigation facilities were also distributed to program beneficiaries nationwide. The SIDA Scholarship Program has the following beneficiaries: 655 undergraduate and 56 postgraduates are ongoing, while 332 undergraduates and 37 postgraduates have already graduated. The benefits of the SIDA Scholar are the following: free tuition, stipend of 10,000 pesos per month, and reimbursement of books and thesis expenses. For technical and vocational courses, we have a total of 3,846 TESDA graduates. For the Research, Development, and Extension Program, the major accomplishments are the following: the establishment of 56 high-yielding variety nurseries with a total area of 370 hectares. 55 units of cutters with tractor has been delivered, and 34 units of cane loaders are waiting to be delivered to the beneficiaries under the Farm Mechanization Program. Provision of 3.12 million worth of chemical pesticides as a quick response to the farmers with pest-infested sugarcane farms. 15 out of 40 research projects have been completed, and a planter's guide on sugarcane disease booklet has been published and distributed to stakeholders. The projects that are under continuous implementations are the following: propagation of high-yielding varieties, variety improvement, studies on pests and diseases, soil fertility improvement, upgrading of soil laboratories, irrigation, capacity building, and farm mechanization. Under the Continuous Variety Improvement Program of the Research, Development, and Extension, the SRA La Granja Agriculture Research and Extension Center, or LAGAREC, has developed 6 sugarcane high-yielding varieties, or HYV, namely Phil 2006-2289, with a yield of 2.41 lkg per ton cane and 129.92 tons cane per hectare, and Phil 2004-1011, with a yield of 2.20 lkg per ton cane and 152.99 tons cane per hectare. Phil 2004-0827, with a yield of 2.6 lkg TC and 181.35 tons cane per hectare. Field 200791 with a yield of 2.1 lkg TC and 136.94 tons cane per hectare. Field 2025-69 with a yield of 2.3 lkg per ton cane and 203.89 tons cane per hectare. And field 99-1793 with a yield of 2.2 lkg per ton cane and 170.69 tons cane per hectare. Among the varieties I have just mentioned, the demand for field 2006-2289 remarkably surpasses the demand for field 99-1793 by 57.83% in the 3-year period from crop year 2018, 2019, and 2020. The rattoning capacity of field 2006-2289 as observed at SRA Lagarec is quite impressive, as it is now on its 6th ratoon to date. Field 2006-2289 is recommended for mechanized farming due to its erect characteristic. It grows a high number of tillers and has high sucrose content. SRA Lagarec produced 30 to 40 laxas per hectare for cutback and has milled the said variety with an average LKGTC of 2.20 and an average of 100 tons cane per hectare. I highly encourage the sugarcane planters to visit SRA La Granja and learn more about these high-yielding varieties and reserve your share of the HYB plant canes for your next cropping. Aside from the projects implemented under the SIDA funds, SRA is also implementing 4 priority projects that aims to increase farm productivity, which will be funded by the corporate funds of SRA. One of these priority projects is the Adopt a Small Sugarcane Farming Family project, which aims to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It targets to increase the productivity of the most vulnerable sector, where beneficiaries are small sugarcane farming families in every mill district, with sugarcane farms that are not more than 3 hectares. There are 324 beneficiaries to this project, and these beneficiaries will receive a total funding of 85,000 pesos for 1 hectare. And SRA will assist the farmers on how to operationalize or manage the farm efficiently. Another priority project is the Accelerated Seed Farm Program, which aims to increase the productivity of farms through accelerated seed farm establishment and distribution of high-yielding varieties in the priority provinces. This is a multi-year program and will fund per association or individual farmer with a maximum of 5 hectares each and with the funding support of 85,000 pesos per hectare for farm operations until cutback. Priority project number 3 is the Soil Rejuvenation and Fertilization Support Services. This aims to improve sugarcane farm productivity and sugarcane production through soil rejuvenation and fertilization of the less productive sugarcane farms within the 10 sugarcane producing provinces. The project will give direct provisions of lime and fertilizer to identified cooperators. Last but not the least, in the priority projects is the water management and irrigation for sugarcane farms. This aims to increase production of small sugarcane farmers by efficient and maximum utilization of the area through improved water management and adaptation of irrigation technologies. To date, 47 rain gun systems have already been delivered to beneficiaries, while 7 rain gun systems are still to be delivered due to current border restrictions. Last year, I shared the good news on the approval of the Japan grant aid in the amount of 800 million Japanese yen for the economic development of the sugarcane industry through farm mechanization. I would like to share with you now the updates on this program. It can be recalled that on August 2020, the government of Japan has officially transferred to the government of the Philippines the 800 million Japanese yen fund. Since then, the SRA conducted a virtual public consultation with stakeholders on the implementing guidelines of the program. On June 2021, the Office of the President approved the implementation of the Japan grant aid, and the contract between the Department of Finance and the procuring entity was signed as well. SRA has been conducting preliminary discussion with Crown Agent on the specifications of the machineries, and it has been estimated that we can get between 70 to 80 sets of tractors with 3 implements, namely power harrow, whole stalk sugarcane planter, and mulcher for the small sugarcane landholders. SRA also issued the implementing guidelines of the Japan grant aid and started evaluating proposals from prospective beneficiaries. The implementation MOA with DOF is now for signature by Secretary Carlos G. Dominguez, and the implementation MOA between SRA and the beneficiaries is ready to be deployed as well. I would like to emphasize to everyone that SRA has been working hard in service to the sugarcane industry stakeholders. Even with the pandemic, we have been performing our duties with full capacity, and we shall continue to do so. SRA cannot do this alone. I encourage everyone to be progressive and continue to learn new technologies in sugarcane farming. The SRA personnel will always be happy to help. Please do not hesitate to reach out and coordinate with our research, development, and extension personnel. I also encourage the associations, cooperatives, and sugar mills to be common service providers in their respective mill districts. I encourage you to apply for accreditation with SRA so you can access the SIDA funds. Let us all push for modernization and higher productivity and efficiency. Together, we have always been a strong survivor as an industry. Let us continue to uphold this tradition of unity and resilience. Let us be one as an industry and support each other on the way forward and upward. Thank you very much, and mabuhay ang Philippine sugarcane industry.
Once again, thank you so much, Administrator Hermenegildo Serafica from the Sugar Regulatory Administration. On behalf of the Philsutech Board, I would like to present to you the plaque of appreciation, which reads as follows. Philippine Sugar Technologists Association Incorporated awards this plaque of appreciation to Engineer Hermenegildo R. Serafica in grateful acknowledgement of his invaluable support and for generously sharing his time as guest speaker. During the 67th Philsutech Annual National Virtual Convention, held on August 25 to 27, 2021, at Park Inn by Radisson, SM City Complex, Bacolod City, Philippines. Given this 26th day of August 2021, signed, Chairman of the Board, Domingo Lazaro L. Carranza, our President, Dr. Neil Andrew C. Cortez, and overall convention coordinator, Jose Maria R. Valmayor. Once again, maraming salamat. That was Engineer Hermenegildo R. Serafica. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Philsutech.
All right. So again, thank you so much. Again, we would like to inform everyone to please be on standby because we will be back at 10:30 a.m. More discussions, more topics later, more speakers, and I believe more questions from all of our participants. So please stay tuned. Don't go home just yet. Just relax, because I believe this day is going to be a day that's be full of learning and full of fun. Don't forget. All right, see you later. Let's be on standby. Ladies and gentlemen, just a few reminders before we close. Ensure that your signals are in the best condition so that in the duration of our convention, maganda po yung signal natin and maganda rin po yung flow of communication natin, especially in times when you will be sending your comments, your questions onto our chat boxes. Please don't forget to send it in our Zoom account. We may be having a couple of technical glitches, so please send it on our Google account. Here are the following virtual convention attendees internet connection reminders. Number 1, please make sure to check your internet speed, both upload and download speed. Second, a minimum of 20 Mbps of upload and download speed for better internet connection and quality of convention. Number 3, LAN or wired connection is a must, but if you are using a mobile device or a laptop, make sure that you are near the Wi-Fi router to have better connection. In case of internet interruption or technical problems from the host, please wait for further instructions. And use headsets for clearer audio. Okay, so we hope that we can still keep in touch, and don't forget, we encourage you to be connected with us on the first link that we have sent. But if nahihirapan po tayo, if we're having a couple of problems, you can still connect with us via Zoom. But the questions, again, we encourage you to send it via Zoom because we may be having a couple of technical problems as well para ma-address po talaga ng mga speakers natin at ma-flash po namin and ma-encode yung mga questions po ninyo. Alright? So right now, relax. Stand by. We will see you in a bit.
It's more fun. Philippine Island. fun. It's more fun in the Philippines. It's more fun in the Philippines. It's more fun. It's more fun in the Philippines. Philippine Islands. It's more fun in the Philippines.
User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Creating an account for event registration. Go to https://67thankphilsutech.com. Click on Register Now. Input your details and click Create Account. For group accounts, enter all registrants by clicking on Add New Field. Go to your email address and verify your email address. Your password is indicated beside your name for easy reference. Once verified, you will be redirected to Huddle, the virtual event platform for the 67th Philsutech Annual National Convention. Payment. You will receive an email for the payment instructions. Once paid, email your payment details to philsutech@gmail.com. You will receive an email acknowledging receipt of your payment. Go back to https://67thankphilsutech.com and click Login here to return to Huddle. By now you can access sessions. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Creating an account for event registration. Editing your personal information. In your dashboard, click the menu button on the upper right hand of the screen and choose Profile. Edit your profile details. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Internet Connection Guidelines for Attendees. Please make sure to check your internet speed, upload and download speed. To run speed test, search speed test in Google, and click Run Speed Test. Minimum of 20 megabytes per second of upload and download speed for better internet connection and quality of convention. LAN or wired connection is a must, but if you are using a mobile device or a laptop, make sure that you are near the Wi-Fi router to have better connection. In case of internet interruption or technical problems from the host, please wait for instructions. Use headset for clearer audio reception. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Navigating Huddle. Sidebar menu includes Reception, Sessions accessible only for paid attendees. Click on Join Session to view a session. Attendees can submit questions here. The moderator shall choose from among the questions submitted by the attendees and provide the same to the Master of Ceremonies, who in turn will pose the questions to the speaker for a particular session. Questions that could not be entertained shall be sent to the speaker, who may choose to answer the same at a later time via email. Lounge/chat room. You can send and view messages in the chat room. Your messages can be public, with specific groups and individual fellow attendees. Arena/virtual booth. Virtual booths of our exhibitors can be explored here. Photos/videos/doc hall. This will contain ANC photos, videos and downloadable documents. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Frequently asked questions. I forgot my password. How do I reset? Click Forgot Password in the login screen and input your email address. Check your email address and reset your password. Can I pay for more than 10 people? To pay for more than 10 people, just register under the group. Is there any Huddle help desk? You can talk to us using the chat icon found at the lower right corner of the screen while you are at https://www.67thankphilsutech.com/ or inside Huddle. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Creating an account for event registration. Go to https://67thankphilsutech.com. Click on Register Now. Input your details and click Create Account. For group accounts, enter all registrants by clicking on Add New Field. Go to your email address and verify your email address. Your password is indicated beside your name for easy reference. Once verified, you will be redirected to Huddle, the virtual event platform for the 67th Philsutech Annual National Convention. Payment. You will receive an email for the payment instructions. Once paid, email your payment details to philsutech@gmail.com. You will receive an email acknowledging receipt of your payment. Go back to https://67thankphilsutech.com and click Login here to return to Huddle. By now you can access sessions. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Creating an account for event registration. Editing your personal information. In your dashboard, click the menu button on the upper right hand of the screen and choose Profile. Edit your profile details. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Internet Connection Guidelines for Attendees. Please make sure to check your internet speed. upload and download speed. To run speed test, search speed test in Google, and click Run Speed Test. Minimum of 20 megabytes per second of upload and download speed for better internet connection and quality of convention. LAN or wired connection is a must, but if you are using a mobile device or a laptop, make sure that you are near the Wi-Fi router to have better connection. In case of internet interruption or technical problems from the host, please wait for instructions. Use headset for clearer audio reception. User Guide to 67th Philsutech Annual Convention Virtual Event Platform, Huddle. Navigating Huddle. Sidebar menu includes Reception, Sessions accessible only for paid attendees. Click on Join Session to view a session. Attendees can submit questions here. The moderator shall choose from among the questions submitted by the attendees and provide the same to the Master of Ceremonies, who in turn will pose the questions to the speaker for a particular session. Questions that could not be entertained shall be sent to the speaker, who may choose to answer the same at a later time via email. Lounge/chatroom. You can send and view messages in the chat room. Your messages can be public, with specific groups and individual fellow attendees. Arena/virtual booth. Virtual booths of our exhibitors can be explored here. Photos/videos/doc hall. This will contain ANC photos, videos and downloadable documents.
Give me hope, strength and will to keep on. Loneliness can make me feel its way, and only you can bring out all the best I can do. How to leave a turn the tide and make me feel real good inside. Pushed me up, and I'm about to give up. You're on my side, but no one seems to listen. And if you go, you know the tears can't help but show. You know you've always had my heart. From now on we'll never part. It's
Come and visit Talisay City's tourism destinations and its distinctive heritage. Choose Philippines. Choose Talisay City.
And welcome back! Everything that you saw just a while ago are some of the things that you can see here if you visit Negros Occidental at hindi na tayo maging virtual. But for now, let's keep ourselves safe. Everybody, we are now ready for our next speaker. In this time of the pandemic, one of our priorities in the workforces is the safety of our workers. And today, our speaker is an occupational safety and health consultant specializing in construction and training management. He is the occupational safety manager and manager of Integrated Energy Systems and Resources Incorporated from 2008 up to the present. He is also the health consultant of AAV Builders, Clark Development Corporation, Angeles City. He took his master's in nursing at Arellano University and graduated in 2001. My dear friends, let us welcome our speaker, Mr. Eddie C. De Castro Jr.
Right, good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and a privilege for being invited at this very prestigious event, the 67th Annual Conventions of Philsutech, as one of your plenary speakers. COVID-19 has affected our industry, especially on the private sector. And there has been so many employees that have been succumbed to the dreaded disease. Again, this venue and avenue could really help us on how to further improve our safety management system to enhance our capability in protecting the lives and the welfare of our employees. Again, thank you very much, Philsutech, for having me as one of your plenary speakers. Congratulations. Please allow me to share my screen to you so that I could start my presentations on worker safety amidst this pandemic. I hope everyone could see my screen. Unfortunately, it's still the slides are still okay. Sir Leia, can you hear this? Can you see the screen? Can you please confirm? Okay. So welcome once again on this plenary session. Okay, entitled "Worker Safety in the New Normal: Prevention and Control." Yeah, yeah, I understand. I have to remove this. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm using ano kasi, I'm using a MacBook. Okay, thank you very much. No? Again, ulitin ko po, no? Welcome to our plenary session on worker safety in the new normal on how to prevent and control of COVID in the workplaces. As I've stated a while ago, this COVID pandemic thing has already affected so many lives, no? Not only in the private and but as well as in other sectors. Businesses has been closing down, and there has been retrenchment due to the erraticity and the fluidity of the current situations. So, what I would like to discuss here for today is how can we further improve our system in managing COVID in the workplaces. Um, our government agencies, the Department of Trade and Industry, together with the Department of Labor and Employment, has issued a supplemental guidelines on workplace prevention and control of COVID. The rationale of this guidelines is to assist employers and employees in the workplaces in their preparations for the returning to work of workers and resumptions of on-site operations after lifting the enhanced community quarantine by adapting to the new normal protocols designed to mitigate the spread of COVID virus. So, as provided in the guidelines, the following are the elements of a total precautionary measures for the containment of COVID in the workplaces. And these are as follows: increasing physical and mental resilience, reducing transmission of COVID-19, minimizing contact rate. Number four is the reduce contact, remote management of cases and close contacts, and isolations and referrals. And lastly, we have contact tracing and testing of COVID cases. Okay, is this much better, Leo? I'll just turn off my video muna. Ha? Okay, thank you very much. No? So this guidelines has provided us several measures that we could follow. And this includes, in terms of the first element, which is increasing physical and mental resilience. Accordingly, employers shall provide a psychological support to workforce So there has been so many cases of anxiety resulted to depressions due to this pandemic. There are certain employees that were not able to see their loved ones and their relatives physically, and this have brought up to massive psychological effect on the part of these employees. And as part of the requirement of this guideline, it is highly recommended that the company shall have a referral system to accredited mental health specialists. And there must be programs on how to maintain balance between work and life activities of the employees. On the second element, in terms of reducing transmissions of COVID-19, so the Department of Labor and Employment, these guidelines, has set forth minimum requirements, and one of these is the requirements of personal protective equipment. This has been this is further strengthened by Section 8 of the RA 11058, with its implementing rules and regulations that every workers have the right to PPE, and it shall be included as part of the cost of operations of the company. Another requirement of this guidelines in terms of utilizations of PPEs and how to properly dispose them. So it has been a big problems, and it has been a big issues nowadays with different companies regarding disposals of this PPE or personal protective equipment being used by their employees. In terms of reducing transmissions, it is highly recommended that companies shall have the following activities or shall have the following interventions: frequent hand washing and or applications of alcohol-based disinfectants is highly recommended. Another one is to conduct disinfections of their work area and discouraging sharing of personal items. So basically, on this note, it is highly recommended that the company shall further improve its housekeeping protocol. Another one is intended for medium to large private companies with total assets of above 15 million are enjoined to provide shuttle services. It may be offered for free or for a reasonable cost or a reasonable fare, depending on the discussions between the employee and its employer. Uh, Further, in terms of reducing transmissions, most recently the WHO, together with the Center for Disease Control of the United States, have cited several studies showing that the COVID virus has gone to be a airborne microorganism. Hence, with this, from the usual 1 meter social distancing, the guidelines has extended the social distancing to 2 meters whenever possible, shall be observed at all times within the workplaces. To further improve the reductions of transmission of COVID-19, the following activities are also highly recommended. In terms of ventilations, we have two different types. We have two different types: adequate ventilations in the workplace and inside the shuttle services. Shuttle services. In terms of promotions of adequate ventilations in the workplaces, this should strictly be enforced in the workplaces. Natural airflow through opening of windows and doors and turning off air conditioning units when possible are highly recommended. In terms of adequate ventilation inside shuttle buses, just in case a company provides this for its employees, it is highly recommended that opening of windows with at least 3 inches of opening and a physical distancing or at least 50% capacity within these shuttle services. Another one is the mandatory advocacy awareness and raising program. Um, Webinars, virtual lectures such as these are highly recommended in terms of prevention and control of COVID, in which we need to highlight our references to make sure that these are the proper references, and these are the true and honest to goodness informations. Most especially, we could acquire these informations from the IATF, EID, or also coming from the DOLE website, or most primarily from the Department of Health, for us to be able to get and obtain the true and the proper information regarding updates relevant to this COVID pandemic. Furthermore, to minimize contact rate, the following activities are also highly recommended. We could adopt an alternative work arrangement, shift work as staggered work, what we call this as work from home. So basically, the role of the HR here is on how to um, on how to identify employees that could actually perform tasks from home. Together with this, we need to encourage employees working from home regarding the requirement of safety, such as the requirement of policies relevant to prolonged sitting, such as the requirement of policies relevant to ergonomics, to provide work from home setup in compliance with safety. We would the guidelines also discourages prolonged face-to-face interactions between workers and with its client. It is with this we could improve our digital platform to provide a simplest communications with our clients as part of our business continuity plan. Uh, Proper PPE shall always be enforced at all times. Just in case there will be meetings, we have to find ways on how to minimize its durations. And it has been a struggle for some companies regarding workplace arrangement. But then again, as provided by these guidelines, it is a must that there shall be a 2 meter social distancing to allow a workplace stations and workplace layout that will promote safety and health in the preventions of COVID within an enclosed environment. It is a must for all employers, or for all companies to have its safety officers, not only uh, uh, with the compliance on the requirement of these guidelines, but as well as what is being provided and stipulated on the new Occupational Safety and Health Law, which is RA 11058. With this note, the role of the safety officers the role of the safety officer is to make sure that they will be able to assist the employer in the implementations of occupational safety and health and the implementations of the occupational safety and health program relevant to the preventions and control of COVID in the workplaces. So that the requirement of the safety officers will be based depending on the types of the workplace when it comes to its level of risk and the number of employees. I would like to refer you to DO 198, which is the implementing rules and regulations of RA 11058. Another element of this guidelines is on how to reduce infections or how to reduce duration of infections. In terms of detections, it is highly required that all employees shall submit a health declaration form. And of course, with due considerations on the requirements of PDA or DPA, Data Privacy Act. Another one is to make sure that all employees who are required to conduct temperature taking shall understand and should take note the different range between high level of temperatures or not, so that they will be able to determine possible early signs and symptoms of COVID within the workplaces. In terms of furthermore, in terms of detections, the guidelines also tells us that data collected should only be included data needed for the purpose of contact tracing. It has been a problem with some companies it has been a problem with some companies that that this data has been all over the places. So um, data privacy has been compromised sometimes. So we need to make sure that all respective informations coming from our employees, as written on the health assessment form, shall be given with utmost care, confidentiality, and privacy. Employers shall direct symptomatic individuals through the designated primary health care, or we could use teleconsultations. We could use teleconsultations. In terms of management of asymptomatic and symptomatic individuals in the workplaces, um, this guidelines has stated several minimum requirements. Okay, one of these is the remote management of cases and close contacts. Employees should have access to telemedicine. health maintenance organizations, or employer-initiated telemedicines, or through the barangay health center services, or to the local government unit. In terms of isolations and referrals, there shall be one isolation area for every 200 employees, which location shall be near the entrance and the exit of the workplace. And this isolation area shall be equipped with a proper level of personal protective equipment. Um, those private establishments who are unable to establish an isolation area may plan with a temporary treatment and monitoring facility in coordinations with the barangay local government unit, or for immediate referral or employee who needs to be isolated. Certain companies are really having problem managing this. So basically, one very good example is that we could have a mutual agreement, or we could have a partnership with the local government unit in terms of this case. I think that would be I think that would be the most cost effective approach. In terms of contact tracing, all establishments shall ensure strict compliance with this protocol, as specified in the Department of Health Memorandum Number 2020-0189, entitled Updated Guidelines on Contact Tracings of Close Contacts of Confirmed 19 Cases. Basically, some of the provisions of what is written on this DOH memorandum includes close contacts with exposures to 2 days before within 14 days from onset of symptoms. So it is highly recommended that every company shall have its occupational health thing, um, um, for them to be able to for them to be able to strictly comply with the requirements of contact tracing. Face to face with these are the employees who are included based on the following set for criteria: face to face with confirmed cases within 1 meter, those employees who have direct physical contacts with confirmed cases, and those employees who have direct care for patients. So most likely ito po yung mga sa families po nila, they have cases. It has been a problem na there has been an issue before that some of the cases are actually work related. There has been a reframing of the definitions, no, during the old times. Pag sinabi po nating workplace, we are referring to the four corners of an office. No, we are referring to warehouses. But nowadays, no, pag sinabi nating workplaces, it could be anywhere. It could be somewhere out there. No, it could be out there in the public. So there has been so many issues. There have been so many gray areas in terms of contact tracing. So basically, tayo po as employers, as companies, as employees, okay, we need to have this some sort of sense of responsibility on how to help our company and how to help our government to determine who are those in close contact. It is more for responsibility and obligations that we really need to abide to help our company to move forward, to help our company to determine and to be able to identify uh, those em- uh, those employees that have been close contact with the positive COVID cases, not only within workplaces, as well as those employees who have been with close contact outside workplaces. Remember, no, pag nasa labas po tayo when we go to work, we are actually compromising yung trabaho. We are actually compromising the welfare of other employees. So as I've stated a while ago, no, nagbago na ho tayo ng konteksto ng in and out, di ba? Ngayon po lahat ng mga nasa labas, it is very important na kailangan masala natin before they will be able to enter our company. We need to make sure that these are not really infected individuals. Okay, so we also need to protect other people. Okay, so employees' commitment is very important on this part. So companies shall address this concern. Companies could actually include their families regarding this matter. Okay, so that we will be able to have an enhanced protocol when it comes to our COVID control and preventions. Another requirement is that those customers, we have our stakeholders, such as our customers, visitors, contractors. They go in and out. Contractors are always there to make sure that our equipment in our processing plants are always up and going. We have visitors, we have consumers, we have customers, we have third party suppliers. Okay, we have third party suppliers, we have third party logistics. They go in and out of our plants, they go in and out of our workplaces. They shall be included as part of our contact tracings. Meaning to say, as part of our COVID protocol program, they shall also be covered. They shall also be covered. Um, um, the employer shall be required to complete these customers, visitors, and contractors, and especially the employer shall make sure that they will be required to completely accomplish the contact tracing form. And they shall also have a referral system of symptomatic individual, which shall be coordinated with the nearest care facility. Employers are encouraged to collaborate with the national or local government testing efforts like drives through walk-through testing facilities. No, right. In terms of COVID-19 testing, this guidelines has used the word may. Employers may test workers for COVID-19, but the testing of workers and interpretations of its results again shall be in accordance with DOH Memorandum number 2020-0180 and the Administrative Order number 2020-0014. Okay. In terms of notifications and reporting, um, the reporting of COVID-19 test results to the Department of Health shall be done in accordance with Department of Health Administrative Order number 2020-0013. Primarily, it's stated here that the guidelines stipulates that the occupational safety and health officers or the employer shall or must report COVID-19 positive employees, symptomatic employees, and their close contacts to local health office. Again, no, this is mandatory. In terms of disinfections and closures of building and workplaces, assuming that a positive test has already been concluded, there shall be a disinfections with the utilizations of appropriate disinfecting solutions to be conducted within the workplace. The workplace shall be locked down for 24 hours prior to disinfections to lessen the possible transmissions. So the role of the safety officers and the employers here is to make sure that this requirement is strictly observed. So what are the duties of the employers in terms of its compliance with these guidelines? The employer shall provide the necessary company policies for the prevention and control of COVID-19 in consultation with its workers. Advocacy and information and education campaign programs from reliable sources, no, to make sure na wala po mga fake news tayo. So that all of our employees shall be well informed. Provide resources and materials needed to keep the workers healthy and the workplace safe. So as provided by these guidelines and as initially stipulated under Order 11058, the issuance of masks or any types of PPE shall be given for free. This includes na rin po yung mga soap and disinfectants at without any cost to our employees. The employer shall make sure that there is a designated safety officers to monitor the requirements and the provisions of these guidelines to make sure that this is always in place. By the way, that is one of the duties and responsibilities of the safety officers as set forth by RA 11058. We need to make sure that we could enhance our health insurance provisions for workers. No? Meron naman po tayong PhilHealth dyan. Okay, if possible, no, we can provide shuttle services or at least a decent accommodations on near site locations to lessen travel and people movement when feasible. Or we can enjoy the hiring from the local community so that it will not affect our manpower supply chain. And of course, no, the employer shall put up a COVID-19 hotline and call center for employees for any eventualities that they could contact. Moving forward, Moving forward, I think this has been discussed already, right? So what are the duties of the workers? No, the workers shall make sure. No, it always takes two to tango. Okay, the workers shall make sure that we need to comply with the requirement of the guidelines. Remember, as workers, we are considered to be as economic frontliners, meaning to say, um, we help to strengthen our economy amidst this pandemic. So aside from the economic reason why we go to work, we also have our personal and of course social, legal, and a moral responsibility to adhere with the requirement of the guidelines. Now remember, tayo po yung nakikisalamuha sa mga employees natin. Tayo yung mga nakasilimuha sa mga different individuals within the workplaces. So we need to make sure that we really need to comply voluntarily. Okay? So hindi ho tayo kailangan laging binabantayan. Okay? Hindi ho tayo kailangan laging pinagsasabihan. There must be a voluntary compliance. Make sure that this COVID protocol shall be a way of our lives. Make sure that this COVID protocol is not only intended for the protection, for our own personal protections. It's not only intended for the protection of the workplace, for the protection of our employer, but as well as we intend to protect our families, the reasons why we work. So the Department of Labor and Employment, together with the DTI, in terms of assistance and reporting, they shall extend assistance. No? Just in case po, if you have any questions, no? Meron pong hindi malinaw sa COVID guidelines. Okay, you can actually call on. No? Pwede po natin tawagan yung hotline ng Department of Labor and Employment, regional offices. Okay, for further assistance regarding compliance to these guidelines. No? Another ones that the employer shall provide, okay, the Department of Labor and Employment through its regional office, where the establishment is addressed. Copy furnish the Department of Health. Okay, we are required to submit a monthly report. With COVID, without COVID, we have to submit it. Okay, meron na ho silang national portal. Okay, the Dole National Portal for the submissions of COVID cases. With COVID, without COVID, we need to adhere to these requirements. We have to comply with these requirements. Okay, yan po yan. So let's move forward. So these are the latest COVID cases in the Philippines. No, as of yesterday, actually kagabi ko lang ito, no, 12 midnight, for to make sure na ito po talaga yung latest as of last night. No, we now have 1.883.088 million cases of COVID all over the Philippines. No, and kahapon po inadagdag sa ating mga active cases are 13,573. Our active cases, napakataas. We have 125,378. Then those who have recovered is 1,725,000. And those who have succumbed to death is 32,492. Okay, and hopefully that the number should stop there. Okay, in terms of the variant, Delta variant has always been our big problem since it has entered our country. You know, it's a variant came from India. Okay, it has a very high rate of transmissibility. Okay, according to the um, portals ng Department of Health, most cases are coming from this Delta variant. Okay, so these are the recommendations. There shall be a participatory and inclusive approaches that involves workers in identifying daily challenges and creating unique solutions. Remember, this situation is very extraordinary. That requires the situation is very extraordinary. That requires extraordinary solutions. So we have to work hand in hand, employers, our employees, our third party, on how can we have a participatory and inclusive approach to further intensify, to further strengthen our COVID protocol and prevention guidelines. Another one is committing as leaders to support workers through actions and communications. Guidelines can only be effective if we implement them in our workplaces. Guidelines can only be effective if we support them. We make sure that that we make sure that our policy reflects our interventions, that our policy reflects our actions. Another one is to make sure that we need to use evidence-based approach to guide our actions and evaluate progress. There has been so many researches, right? There has been so many researches regarding the use of different ways, regarding the use of different protocols that we can actually utilize, not only here in the Philippines, but as well as coming from other countries. So as safety officers and as employers, we need to make sure, we need to look at current trends. We need to look at current researches to further enhance, to make sure that that our batting average in the implementations of our COVID protocols are at par. And as another recommendations is the inclusions of occupational safety and health as part of the company's business continuity plan. Nobody expected this from happening. We do not have a specific law. We have the Disaster Management Act, but our Disaster Management Act does not include pandemic. Right? We need to make sure that that occupational safety and health shall always be an integral part of every business operations. We need to make sure that occupational safety and health shall always be a part of the vision, shall always be a part of the missions of our company. Right? And we also need to make sure that every company shall adhere to ethical and legal standards. We need to make sure that the guidelines are being followed as set forth. So those are the recommendations. I would like to share this to you, ladies and gentlemen. Um, as I've stated a while ago, as I stated a while ago, these situations requires extraordinary interventions. To increase the company's competitive advantage, we have to invest in the health and safety of our workforce. Right? So many have been affected. Supply chain has been affected. Manpower management has been affected. It is high time that our safety management system must be dynamic. Our safety management system must be able to cope up with the requirement of the current times. Our safety management system must be inclusive, in which it includes inputs coming from our workforce, coming from our manpower resources. And finally, right, in safety, there is always hope. Right? When we incorporate safety in our day-to-day lives, we are actually trying to improve. We are actually promoting other business objectives. We are promoting quality. We are promoting workmanship. We are promoting productivity. At the same time, we are promoting a workplace that is conducive, that is safe, and that involves the increase of the morale of our employees. That ends my presentations, and I'm going to unshare this, and I am now open for your further questions. Thank you very much.
All right, and with that, thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. So to everyone who's watching right there, a slight virtual round of applause, please. We have learned so much, and this can actually benefit so many people, even us who are here. We are actually live here in Bacolod City, and we are again ensuring that everybody is just but doing the correct health and safety protocols, abiding with the IATF. And with the topic that was shared earlier, sana po in each of us, maa-apply po natin yan. Again, for safety. That's the number one thing. Priority po natin yung health natin at all times. So we are encouraging everybody to drop down their questions onto the chat boxes, or any comments, suggestions, anything that you'd like to freely share onto our comment box for our speaker and for everybody else who is watching as well. Let's make this interactive. Before we go on to the awarding, let's see if we have questions for Mr. Speaker. All right. I'm pretty sure everything has been said very, very clear, but let's just see if some people have encoded a couple of questions. All right, so that was a good sign. It is very clear. Thank you so much. On behalf of the Philsutech board, I would like to present to you this plaque of appreciation, which reads as follows. All right, so let's put a hold right there because as I was entering into the awarding, may pumasok na question for you, Sir Eddie. Okay, here we go. I think we're ready to flash the question on screen. And this question goes to Mr. Speaker. Let's just make sure that the question is encoded very, very well. And we encourage everyone to put their questions onto the Zoom accounts. Alright? Para makita po natin, ma-flash natin sa screen at masagot po ng speaker natin. We will be having more questions later on. But aside from that, and of course, aside from liking our Facebook page, we are also encouraging everybody to check out our huddle because our exhibits are there together with our sponsors. So take time. We're going to be having our lunch break later on tonight, and even in between talks and in between breaks, you can also check it out. Maximize whatever we see right there together with our sponsors. Sa ating po mga sponsors, maraming salamat po. All right, let's check if the question is ready. And here we go. Hi, Sir Eddie. We encourage vaccination, and our LGU is already inoculating the A-Force. My question is, how could a company impose or convince employees, especially those working inside air-conditioned rooms, but are resistant to the vaccination? This is from Jesse Solas. A nice question. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, thank you very much, Sir Jesse. No, that has been a problem because of this fake news about the vaccinations. Because of the fake news about the vaccinations. With my experience, there has been so many vaccine scare that has been stated and encountered by different employers in the promotions of COVID vaccines. No? By the way, sir, I would like to expound your questions. No? The Department of Labor and Employment has issued the requirement of ventilations regarding the requirement of different filters. No? So perhaps you could actually look into that, the requirements of the ventilations. No? Straightly with what has been asked. No? This is this COVID pandemic not only affects the physical well-being of every individual, but as well as 50% psychological aspect of the way of our individual. We could enhance our information campaign. We could enhance our information campaign, get the right person for the right job. When I mentioned that, these are the best practices. Our companies have hired clinical psychologists. Our companies has hired doctors who are experts in the field of infectious diseases. So we have provided telemedicine, teleconsultations. There is no definite, sir. There is no definite answer, right? If these measures could actually affect their decisions, but then again, as employers, it would be very, very best that we need to have the right people giving the right informations. We have to intensify our campaign regarding these vaccines. We need to tell these people. We cannot just tell them once a day. No, we cannot do that. It's just like having a child. We need to tell them, you have to go home right now. You have to go home right now. If you can do that every now and then, do it. Right? There is no clear cut. There is no clear cut surety that tomorrow, once you have told them today that tomorrow they will avail of the vaccine. Again, it shall start with the information and education campaign of the company. Getting the right people, giving the right informations, it requires psychological interventions. Sometimes you have to get somebody to discuss it to these people. You have to get somebody to discuss these people. If you have a doctor within your company, tell your doctor, get out of its comfort zone, get out of the clinic, talk to these people, tell them about this. It's not just telling them to Google search it. No, you have to be very personal with these people because these are your people. You know, ako, if I am the safety officer, I know my people. I know how to deal with them. It's more on the psychological preparations. Thank you very
That's
much.
right. Thank you
I
very
hope
much.
that will help. I hope that will help. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much,
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Speaker. Very, very clear right there. Parang hindi natin siya pinupush, but we are trying to educate them properly. Yan yung tamang term na sinabi niyo. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. And thank you for that question as well. But we have one more, so let's flash it on screen. This is from Chuchi Honrado. Is there any restriction or policy for employees who do not want to undergo antigen tests?
Um, Thank you very much for that very good questions. Um, the guidelines are very specific regarding testing. If the employer would like to have its employees to undergo this testing, I am referring to those employees that are already hired by the company. Because definitely testing is not required as part of the pre-employment. The guidelines very specific on that. But having said so, specific to that questions, if the employer would like to have its employees to undergo this testing, definitely in terms of cost, that shall be covered by the employer. That shall be covered by the employer. That is why you need to have a very, very stringent occupational health program because the physician will be the one to determine who's going to undergo testing, who's going to not to undergo testing. Okay. So there is no actually no clear cut restriction or policy who do not want to undergo antigen testing. It's Ma'am Cutie, it's a matter of having your own internal policy. Right? The guidelines is very specific. The guidelines is very specific in terms of testing. The employer shall determine who are those who's going to undergo testing. That is why you need to have your occupational health protocols. You need to have your occupational health program. You need to have your physicians. If you do not have a physicians, you can have a teleconsultations. You can coordinate with the local government unit. Just in case you have somebody who is let's say baka meron siya pero baka naman wala but because of your data collections meron siyang possible signs and symptoms we could send him for consultation sa local government unit. We can do that. And that what would be the say of the local government unit, let's say the city health office, or they need to undergo antigen test, and we need to follow that protocol, we need to follow that requirement. Right? Ang isa ko kasi sa mga gray areas is this, no? Right. We're talking about COVID testing, and yet companies do not have specific guidelines on how to improve the requirement of occupational health, getting the right person, a nurse or a physician, right, to determine, let's say, referral system. O, itong isang empleyado namin, okay, potentially, baka hindi pa tayo sigurado kasi wala pa naman siyang confirmatory test. Can we send him for an antigen test? Kaya nga, that would be the role of the physician. If you have that situation, if you have that policy, then you can never go wrong. Okay? Thank you very much. I hope that will help.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. That's right. Create an internal policy for us to identify what the help needed is and to identify what action is needed as well without instructing force, but just proper education. Very, very clear. Again, thank you so much, Mr. De Castro. And the questions have ended. So on behalf of the Philsutech board, I would like to present to you the plaque of appreciation, which reads as follows. Philippine Sugar Technologists Association Incorporated awards this plaque of appreciation to Eddie C. De Castro Jr. for his precious time and invaluable services to the 67th Philsutech Annual National Virtual Convention, held on August 25 to 27, 2021, at Park Inn by Radisson SM City Complex, Bacolod City, Philippines, as resource speaker on worker safety in the new normal. Given this 26th day of August 2021, signed Chairman of the Board, Domingo Lazaro L. Carranza, our President, Dr. Neil Andrew C. Cortez, and Overall Convention Coordinator, Jose Maria R. Valmayor. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very
All
much,
right.
Philsutech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, we had just had a jam-packed morning of learning, so I am pretty sure that you have taken down some notes to remember and even the answers to your questions. So we will have another set of speakers later on this afternoon. But for the meantime, we will going to have a short break, and we will be back later at 1:30 p.m. So stand by, maximize all the sites that we have encouraged you to like and subscribe, and see you in a bit. Have a good lunch.